The devil. Anon plummeted back to earth, falling through the unforgiving air. He was reminded of his first day in this land when he had taken a tumble off the forgotten cliffs. He wondered if another magical cloud would appear to save him. However, no such cloud materialized, and he braced himself for impact. But instead of hitting the ground, he fell straight through it, descending through the layers of earth until he finally landed in a vast subterranean cavern. Anon peeled himself off the rocky floor and took a painful breath, his lungs filled with hot, dense air. As he looked around, he was greeted by a macabre sight. Orange flames flickered and flared through the cracks in the bedrock, illuminating gaunt, writhing figures who were chained on the walls. Their moans of agony reverberated through the immense oppressive canon like harbingers of some cruel destiny. In the center of the chamber, two people were chained to a large stone platform. One wore a gold mask, the other a silver one. Anon recognized them as the enigmatic couple he had met in the city. He was about to approach them when a great rumbling shook the cavern. Bits of debris fell from the ceiling and came smashing to the ground. Anon found a boulder to hide behind as he watched the shadow of a giant horned beast appear in the cavern wall. With each rumbling footstep, the shadow grew larger until the devilish chimera came into view. With feet of a vulture, wings of a bat, and face that was neither man nor goat, but somehow both, the abomination approached the platform. In its hand it carried a long, fiery whip. The beast spoke, but in no language Anon could understand. With crack after deafening crack it brought the flaming scourge down on first the man and then the woman. As their screams grew louder, Anon was horrified to notice that the beast's hellish member was becoming erect. When it seemed that the couple could take no more, the beast mounted the platform and proceeded to have its way with them. Their screams before were nothing compared to the sound of this infernal copulation. Anon wondered if this was to be his fate as well. Having finished with the couple, the beast stomped off down the passage from which it had come. Anon crept out from behind the boulder and rushed over to the platform. "Psst!" he whispered. "Psst!" Who is there?" the man asked, aroused from the aftermath of his agony. "It's me, Anon. We met in the city. Are you okay?" "Look, dear, it's the young knight from the city." The man in the gold mask nudged the woman lying to him. She merely nodded in acknowledgment. "Tell me, did you ever find your stables, good sir?" Given the ordeal he had just gone through, he was being surprisingly chipper. Well, yes, I did, in fact," Anon said, confused. "I'm sorry, but aren't you horrified by what just happened to you?" "Oh, yes, very horrified. It was exquisite," the masked man said as if he were describing a rare wine. "To tell you the truth, I didn't expect to see you down here. You didn't exactly seem like the cultured type." "I didn't choose to come down here," Anon hissed. "I was sent here." "Everyone chooses to be here in one way or another," the man in the gold mask replied. "If you don't mind me asking, how do you die? How did you die?" The man looked at the woman and they both laughed as if they were in on some inside joke. "My good man, we did not die. Like I said, we chose to come down here." "Why on earth would you choose to be in hell? I heard you screaming. It sounded horrible. And look at your back. It's torn to shreds." "Yes, yes, the lady and I do like to have fun." He reached over and pinched her on her bruised ass cheek, and they laughed again. Anon was baffled. "Well, if you came down here, does that mean there's a way to get out?" "Of course. Yes, of course. No one stays down here forever. Unfortunately, even hell gets boring after a while." "Please tell me. I have to get out of here." "What do you say, sweet cheeks?" the man said, turning to his lover. "Should we show our young friend here the way out?" She thought for a moment and then shook her head and giggled. Sorry, chap, the lady has spoken. I'm afraid we can't help you. Please, it's. Anon thought for a moment. It's about a girl. I need to save her. He says it's about a girl, honey. He's madly in love, by the sound of it. How about we slip off for a moment and show him the way out? She pouted and rolled her eyes, and then started pulling the chains off of her. The man followed suit, and Anon realized they could have stopped their torture whenever they liked. This way, he said. Anon followed the couple to a large ridge in the cave wall, behind which was a small passage with stairs. The masked couple led the way up the tunnel, hand in hand, followed by Anon, who was trying not to look at their flayed, bloody backs. At several points the passage split, but the couple always seemed to know which route to take. Occasionally they would pass holes in the rock where firelight illuminated grotesque scenes of punishment and abuse. At last Anon saw a light at the end of the tunnel, and soon the unlikely throuple emerged into the dusky twilight that Anon had come to associate with this world. The subterranean passage had deposited them into the forest and beyond the tops of the trees. Anon could just make out the sheer face of the forgotten cliffs. If he wasn't mistaken, the alchemist's hut was not far from where they stood now. Well, here you are, chaps, said the man in the gold mask. Back to the real world, just as you asked. I can't thank you enough. Truly, I don't know what I would have done if I was stuck down there. You would have learned to enjoy it at some point or another, eventually. That's the only choice that you have. If there's anything I can ever do for you, don't hesitate to ask, Anon said. I highly doubt that, my good man. Now, darling, what do you say to round two? The man in the golden mask put his arms around the woman, and they descended back down the stairs, whispering and giggling as they went.